They are young and well-dressed, and one can never suspect their motive. But they are lethal goons armed with sleep-inducing drugs. And when the sleep-inducing robbers sit next to you in a public service vehicle, their effect is one that the victim never forgets. We met with Beatrice Mungai, who explains to us how she fell victim last week to the hands of the sleep robbers.
He came and sat, he followed me to a Matatu 105 from Matatu 102. And he came and sat where I was. Like 2 minutes, I didn't know what was going on. When the child came and asked for the fare, I couldn't think, I couldn't reason. I realized there's something funny about going on.
Beatrice says she did not suspect anything was wrong until when the drug started taking effect on her. But by then, the culprit had already alighted from the Matatu.
When I came back, I tried to check my purse, but it wasn't there. How it was removed, I don't know. And like 10 minutes, I realized that I had been dragged. I couldn't know where I was. All the way from Kikuyu to town, I didn't know where I was.
She was robbed of her purse with all the money, but luckily, a good Samaritan helped her, though the drug's effect was already too much in her system. How are you feeling?
I wasn't thinking. I don't drink, but I think that is how somebody feels when you are drunk. You can't, unaona, as if the buildings are moving, people talking from so far. And I couldn't reason or think or I don't know. It's a very bad feeling, very bad feeling.
But what kinds of drugs are these people using, and what effects do they have on your body?
Is through inhalation, which is just something like exposed to for you to inhale. And once you inhale, it is absorbed through the lungs. And through the lungs, it gets to the brain. And that should be what I would imagine that these people are using.
According to Professor Kiama Wangai, the effect depends on how much dosage they have used and what particular drug has been used.
These drugs are made in such a way that they get absorbed very fast and they have immediate effect.
These drugs are used for medical purposes and should not even be sold under prescription. And since the robbers don't have any medical background, they end up using excessive amount of the drug, which depresses the central nervous and respiratory systems to the point of coma, respiratory failure, and death. So what should one do in case you come across someone who has been drugged?
Ensure that the person is breathing, that the airways are open. In other words, if there are some secretions, some of them are drugged and they have secretions, you kind of try and clean them up so that the airways are open. The next thing is ensure that they are breathing, all right? And that you can ascertain from their chest movement. If their airways are open and they are breathing, the next thing you want to find out whether their heart is working. And that is just by the pulse, that the heart is beating. Once you're able to establish the airway, the breathing, and that there is some form of function of the heart, then the next stage is to have them evacuated from that place to the hospital.
According to a survey, some of the most notorious routes are Kikuyu Route 105 and 102 and Langata Route number 15. Most of the victims say the culprits pretend as though they are wearing their jacket, passing their hand near your nose, and once you inhale the drug put on the hand sleeve, you become unconscious. While others pretend to be asking for directions. Well, they say prevention is better than cure. So anytime you get into any public service vehicle, always try and notice who is seated next to you. If they do anything that you do not like, well, you can raise alarm or you can request to alight. Always remember, don't engage with strangers in public service vehicles. And in case you feel funny, raise the alarm, let the other commuters know all is not well. Michael Njenga, Citizen Weekend, Nairobi.